Hey guys, the last time I saw you, I was about 38 weeks pregnant, getting ready for baby girl, and now she's here and I want to share my birth story. I am about 6 weeks postpartum. Her birthday was April 24th, 2025. I'm so happy she's here. It was such a insane, magical day, and honestly, it worked out perfectly. God planned it in the most perfect way, and I'm really happy that even though I didn't want to have her natural, I'm happy that I did, and I'm happy that I got to experience it being natural. I am so blessed that she's here and she's healthy, and she was so tiny, and she's just so perfect and so much different than my first. She's definitely a different baby, but she's great. I guess I'll just get into it. So that morning at like 2 a.m., the morning of the 24th, well, I was having contractions like all night that night. It really started to pick up from like 2 a.m. to like 4 in the morning. And so I was like writing them down, counting them, seeing how long they were. It's pretty hard because my first baby, I had my water break at home, and so I didn't really have to like count contractions or anything like that. I just got to like go to the hospital because my water broke, like it was time for baby to come. But this time I had to like start counting my contractions and seeing how far apart they were and when to go. So it's a big guessing game. I was trying to track them. I didn't wake up my fiance yet, but like all night long was horrible. I think I got like 2 hours of sleep the entire night. Waking up around like 2 and 3 in the morning. They were about like 6 minutes apart. And I think you're supposed to wait till they're like 4 to 7 minutes apart for an hour or two consistently. I was nervous because with your second baby, they say it comes a lot faster, and I did not want to like have my baby at home or have my baby in the car. My dad was coming to watch my son while we go to the hospital, and he lives an hour away. So I had to like wait till they're consistent and then call him and have him come. And I just didn't want to wait too long, so I was really nervous. Anyways, so at like 4 in the morning, I almost called, but then they started spacing out further and further and then kind of went away. But I was up all night long, and at like 7 in the morning, we kind of get up. I told my fiance he's not going to work that day, and we're gonna pretty much have a baby today. I just can feel it. And so we're up, moving around and getting ready, getting my son breakfast, and then I like call my dad, kind of tell him what's going on. And while I'm on the phone with him, they become like 4 minutes apart pretty consistently. He's like, yeah, you should go. I'll be on my way. I'll be there in like 50 minutes, like to an hour. And so they really started to pick up at that point. So we called my fiance's mom to come over to watch him first until my dad arrived, which was really nice. And then, yeah, so we're like getting everything ready to go, getting the car ready, and get in the car. I didn't have a contraction the whole way to the hospital, which was really nerve-wracking. I was like, no, like, I really hope that I'm not calling it too early. But we get to the hospital. I end up being able to walk to labor and delivery instead of like going to the emergency room like we did last time. So we walk all the way up to labor and delivery, get checked in. They end up checking me, and I'm like 3 centimeters dilated. Like 3 centimeters, oh geez. And so not very far along, they said that I could walk around the hospital for like 2 hours and see if I progress any, or I can go home and wait. So I was like, I'm not going back home. Just had my dad come all the way out. I'm already stressed enough about leaving my son at home for the first time without me, like, for a long period of time, you know? And it was just like, no, we're gonna get this baby out. So I decided to like walk around the hospital. But before they let us go out of the room, we had to wait a little bit, like 20 minutes or so. And I'm like jogging around the room trying to get the baby out and like doing squats. I'm like, no, like we're gonna pick this up. We're gonna get it moving. So then they let us go down, and they say to come back up when something changes. And so I put sweats on and I have my hospital gown on. And we're like walking around. We have to go down the elevator. We go to the gift shop, walk around the gift shop, and then the cafeteria. But it's only been like maybe 15 minutes of like walking around. We're in like this outdoor cafeteria space, and I'm like jogging around, like doing my squats again, like really trying to get stuff moving. And then I just feel something drop and fluid, like liquid. And I'm like, okay, I think my water just broke. And my fiance and I are just so happy. Now we know that we're gonna stay here and have a baby. So we were super excited, but that's when the contractions really started picking up. It was like instant 10 times more pain at that point. And it was really crazy. I'm really glad that I put my sweats on because I was like dripping while walking back to the elevator, like through the hospital and like through the hallway. Yeah, it was a little crazy, but we get back to the room, push the button for her to come, and she's like, already? Like, you guys are back already? And I'm like, yep, my water broke. And so they're like, oh, great, like super excited. Then they like check to make sure my water really did break. They like have to swab the fluid. And so I really did. And then my contractions were super bad, and they were kind of like, oh, okay, like, we gotta just check you though. Is it okay if I check? And then they checked how many centimeters dilated I was, and I am now at an 8. And that was probably like 30 minutes or so, not even 30 minutes apart from when they checked me from when I was at a 3. So I was at a 3 to an 8, like in less than an hour, obviously, like super, super fast. And I was like really in pain. Like I was definitely having some serious contractions and letting them know it. And they kind of like said something to each other. So they started wheeling me to labor and delivery. And my fiance is like, okay, I'll grab the bags. I'll meet you there. I'll be really fast. And they're like, leave the, like wheeling me out. They're like, leave the bags. And he's like, what? Leave the bags? And she's like, well, have someone grab them and bring them. Like, leave the bags. Like, you need to come now. And so they're wheeling me through the hallway. And I was like, I want an epidural. Like, I want an epidural. That was on my birth plan. Like, I want the epidural is what I tell her. Like, looking up at her, laying in this bed as she's wheeling me. She was like, honey, this baby's coming now. And I started crying. I was freaking out. I was like, what do you mean this baby's coming now? Like, I haven't had an epidural. I was just in the elevator like 10 minutes ago. And now the baby's coming? Like, what in the actual heck is happening? And I was just so scared, honestly. It was going super fast. Wheeling me through the hallway, like, don't know where my fiance's at. He's somewhere back there. It was just really crazy. So we're in the labor and delivery room, and there's a bunch of nurses setting everything up. And there was just a bunch of people in there, and they asked me if I can get on the bed, the actual delivery bed. And she was like, wait in between contractions and see if you can get on the bed. And so my contractions stopped. I hopped over on the bed, and they were getting ready to put like an IV in my arm. Like, everybody's just setting up around. The midwife's talking to me, and I was like, I want an epidural. And she's like, you can't get an epidural. Like, you gotta start pushing. So she's like walking me through for like 5 seconds. She's like, okay, this is gonna hurt really bad, but then it's all gonna be over, and you're gonna feel some burning and all that jazz. My contractions barely let me hear anything. It got so bad, I remember freaking out because my hands went completely numb. I could not feel them. It was really freaking me out because I could not feel my hands. Like, I don't know, you just hear so many traumatic birth stories and like things that happen because it's such a big, overwhelming thing for our bodies, you know? And being unmedicated, I was just feeling all of it. And anyways, yeah, so my hands were completely numb. I was like, my hands. And they're like, my hands? Like, because they were touching me. And I was like, no, my hands. I can't feel them. This nurse next to me, she was like, you need to calm down. You're like hyperventilating and like going into shock pretty much. You need to take a deep breath and calm down. And so then I'm like, okay, reality check. You can't just be freaking out, screaming, because your body's feeling it and it's getting all overwhelming. So I kind of like really had to calm myself down. Still couldn't feel my hands. They were completely numb. But I was like, I'm not putting my body in like this much shock. Like, I need to take a breather. But it was so painful. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. But it was like happening so fast, and I think that was the big part of it, was like I'm getting wheeled, now I'm like all this stuff is just happening so freaking fast. And I take a moment to look at my fiance and like make sure we had that moment together, because it was so hectic and so crazy. They didn't even get the IV in my arm, it was that fast. She was like, I'm just gonna let you do your thing because this is not happening right now. So I wasn't hooked up to anything. But they were like, okay, now you gotta start pushing, like go ahead and push. And then they were like, oh, she has hair, all that good stuff. And then literally 2 pushes into pushing, she comes out. Like 2 or 3, not even kidding, she comes out. I remember saying somebody has to hold her on my chest because my hands are numb and I can't make sure I'm holding on to her. It was so scary. But she was there, she was on. I was really in shock. I didn't cry. My fiance cried, which was super sweet, but he said because he was just so overwhelmed and like shocked that it was all happening so fast, and he was really stressed out, and he said I was in a lot of pain and it was really scary. So it was really, really scary, but it was just scary because it was happening so fast, and we just weren't used to that. Like last time it was so gradual. But this time it was just boom, boom, boom. And I was in a lot of pain, but it was only for a short amount of time, which was really nice. I would definitely do it again. Looking back on it, I would definitely do it again because it was so fast and painful, but then it's nothing. Like once the baby comes out, honestly, you feel so relieved and no more pain. It's crazy. Even pushing out my placenta was totally fine. So but yeah, she came out and she was 6 pounds 9 ounces, and her time was 11:25. So we got to the hospital, arrived at the hospital at 9 o'clock, 9 in the morning, and then had her at 11:25 in the morning. Like she was out already here. It was so funny because when they told me that I was 3 centimeters dilated, that I texted my dad and I was like, they might be sending us home. And then the next text he got was, she's here. It was just so unbelievably fast and crazy, but it was magical at the same time, and I'm so happy she's here. But her name is Brooklyn May, and she is so sweet, so tiny, has a bunch of dark hair and like the cutest little nose, long legs, long feet. Her fingers are just long. They were so wrinkly when she came out. She has dimples. I'm just so grateful that she's here and we get to love on her, and her brother loves her so much. He is so sweet with her. He always loves to hug on her and kiss her and poke her nose and like grab her nose. He's so funny. He's been having a really good time adjusting to having her around, and I was really nervous about that, going from 1 to 2, but he's been doing really good. So really can't ask for much more. We are incredibly blessed and so happy and lucky and grateful. Yeah, I just can't believe that 6 weeks have already passed from that day, and it's just magical. Babies are magical. If you're about to have a baby, I am praying for you and an easy labor and delivery, fast, smooth, peaceful, and just sending you all my love. So, but I just wanted to share my story with you guys, and now hopefully I can record some vlogs with our new family of 4, which will be super fun to show. Brayton is still on parental leave, so we've been having a lot of fun with the sun being out and just enjoying all of our time together. It's been amazing. So I would love to hear some highlights of like your guys' birth stories, or if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I would seriously love to talk to you. I'll respond to every single one of you. So please, 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 let's chat. And yeah, I am just so grateful for all of you, and I will see you all in a vlog here real soon. Thanks for watching.